I'm at this beautifully peaceful, tranquil and scenic site today known as the Ladies' Well. And it's near a little village known as Holystone in the northern section of eastern England. The no man's triangle north of the wall, but south of the Scots-English border. Cockatdale. In the days before the Roman invasion, and probably for hundreds of years after the Roman invasion, and also the people who inhabited these lands were the exact same people and the same tribes that inhabited the south of Scotland, and particularly the east, the eastern southern Scotland and the eastern northern England. The site here has been this natural well or spring for forever in terms of human imagination. Apparently it spews forth 360 gallons of fresh drinkable water every single minute, which has made it this really, really important place. But it's became, over the centuries and millennia, this sacred and holy place for many, many people. Yeah, I've made a few films about holy wells in the Scottish borders, but this one really does have that feeling of magic and power. This amazing source of water which just appears from nowhere, constantly nourishing the people around here. And it's been worshipped through the centuries by different peoples. The pagan people of this land, millennia ago, long before the Romans, would have worshipped this site. The Druids, the Celts, the Votadini. This would have been such an important place for them, such a place of magic that kept them alive. There's no doubt that the Celtic people of this land would have dedicated this well to one of their goddesses, probably. You know, this is probably the beginnings of this place being this feminine lady's well. But the next group of people to worship, revere, fear maybe even this well were the Romans when they arrived here in the 1st century AD. Yeah, we're not far here at all from the Hadrian's Wall site, so for 200, 300, maybe even 400 years the Roman activity in this area would have been intense. But the well here is 100% parallel to the Roman road. There's a Roman road which runs just by here, from the camp or the fort at Bremenium right over to the east coast. And the Roman road ran right past this well purposefully for water. And it was actually the Romans who constructed this almost rectangular, with an oval shape at the end, pool to collect the waters from the well. So this well, as you see it today, is actually a Roman construction. As we know, the Romans weren't here forever, you know, and at this point I could quite easily regurgitate my national pride and my stories about how Scotland was the only country in the entire European and North African area which was not conquered by the Romans. We were quite simply the hardest soldiers and armies in the whole continent at a time, but I'm not going to talk about that because everybody knows that story. But anyway, the Romans left, but the well survived, obviously, and very, very soon after the Roman withdrawal from this area, the well was overtaken by another force, and that force was Christianity. Now Saint Ninian was one of the very first people ever to bring Christianity to the shores of Great Britain. And he worked tirelessly in the south of Scotland and north of England to convert the pagan peoples to Christianity. And it's believed that Ninian used this site here to promote Christianity and use these wonderful healing waters to baptise people into the faith. And Ninian could have gone anywhere to promote this newfangled Christianity, but he chose this place. He chose this well in the middle of the northern England countryside to promote his Christianity. Now I think that alone is an indication of how holy a site and how revered a site this was, even before the advent of Christianity. So yeah, Christianity really did take hold here, and the site around Holy Stone Well became, in the 12th century, a nunnery, a really important monastic place. Probably quite grand buildings and a place of pilgrimage for people, and particularly women and nuns from all over the world. And it's reputedly then that this site took the name of Ladies' Well, because the nunnery was dedicated to the Virgin Mary. But for me, this has always been a site of feminine goddesses. Yeah, the nunnery was destroyed pre-Reformation in the 1540s. The statue at the end here was brought in from Alnwick Castle in the 1780s, and it depicts a man known as St. Paulinus. St. Paulinus. And apparently at some point St. Paulinus baptised 3,000 people in the well here. But for me, I hate the way that they've masculinised the site with this statue of a guy, St. Paulinus, whoever he was, some important Christian person. Because yeah, the reason that Ladies' Well and the monastic establishment there were never developed or redeveloped over the centuries was because of this place, Harbottle Castle. Yeah, there's been a castle on this site, a Harbottle, since the 1100s. But it was really in the 15 and 1600s that this place became a key element in the defence of the English realm against us marauding Scots and Scottish Border Reivers. Thomas Darcy lived at Harbottle Castle in the 15 and 1600s. He was appointed by King Henry VIII. He was supposed to be the army commander and the warden of the area he was meant to govern, but instead he stirred up an era of border reiving which ran up to and beyond the Union of the Crowns in 1603. Really, this place was a major military place in the Scottish-English Wars through 1300 all the way up to 1603. You know, in the 1500s, it would have been unthinkable, impossible for a man of my national origin, i.e. Scottish, to walk right up to these castle walls without being brutally killed. The Scottish did take the castle a few times, but mainly it was an English stronghold, a place to be attacked and maybe avoided. Yeah, it really is an amazing old site. It's kind of like one of the old Motte and Bailey Castle ruins that you find quite often, but usually all that's left is the hill and the ditches, whereas here there's quite a bit of the masonry left. Wonderful. But why did Harbottle Castle stop the development and evolution of the religious site at Ladyswell into something bigger? Well, it wasn't just Harbottle Castle on its own. It was the fact of geography. The Ladyswell is situated, or was situated, in the place of bloodiest and oldest warfare in all of Europe. And that never stopped for 400 years. The thought of lavishing money on a religious establishment to build something grand was unthinkable, because it was only going to be destroyed. It was only a matter of time before it would have been destroyed. So the Border Reivers and the English and Scots armies may have stopped the development of that site at Ladyswell, but they've preserved it in that ancient state that it's in for us to look at now. Otherwise it might have been something more 1800s. Yeah, Harbottle here is just one of countless English castles that were put up along the Scots-English border to keep us marauding Scots at bay. This one's a beauty, well worth going to see a visit. And Ladyswell there that I was at earlier is only a couple of miles down the road.